Welcome back, y'all. Before we get into the interview with the Deathtraps MC, just kind of wanted to run over some things. Just wanted to first say thanks to Deathtraps for taking me in for the night and taking care of me. Loved hanging out with them. You know, they show me some different dice games. You know, let me hang out, feed me, and give me a couch to crash on. It was great. I'm sorry about the audio. It's a little rough. I only had 2 mics and there was 3 of us, so I gave Aaron and Jonathan my mics. So, you know, just bear with me. We're working on getting some better shit. And if you guys haven't checked them out, go to Instagram. Check out Deathtraps MC on Instagram. If you check the description, you'll see my Instagram. You will see the Live Forever Die Never website to get the magazines where I write the articles before I release these. So go check that out and you'll get a sneak peek before the interviews, as well as some better photography. And then lastly, if you guys have suggestions, if you're in a club, you know people that would be interested, I'm going to include my email in the description. You can email me and try to get a hold of me. I don't know how often I'll check it, but again, trying to build this, working on getting better. So I'll get back to you guys when I can. Enjoy. Love Knuckles. I don't know shit about them, but they're my favorite.
This was his dad's bike.
So tight.
I don't know. I'm kind of like, that shit and gifts.
He's like, I gotta charge you this. I'm like, oh, crap. Like, we'll have it. Fuel?
And fuel. Well, comes down to it.
I'm gonna take it this weekend, just going camping.
Okay. But,
What's up, guys? We're back. Been on the road for over a week. I'm out here in Sonora, California. Is this still Sonora? No?
yeah, more or less.
So we're in Sonora. I'm hanging out with Deathtraps MC, who have nothing but cool ass death traps, you know, running around. And I'm sitting here with Jonathan, who's a founding member.
Yep.
And Aaron, you've been in for how long?
17 years. It's been
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You said you've been hanging out since the beginning, right?
Yep.
Right
Yeah.
on. So, Jonathan, we'll start with you. How did you get into bikes?
Well, it was, I think, daydreaming while I was overseas. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, did a couple tours overseas, and you know, I think that's that typical, you know, idle minds, just kind of daydreaming about home and what you're going to do when you get out. And I don't really remember exactly, but I do remember reading a lot of The Horse, right? That was big back then, and 20 years ago, and you're just like studying all these bikes, looking at all this stuff. And shortly after getting out of the Marine Corps, I think it was real shortly after is when I bought that my first bike, street bike, which would have been a 67 Triumph.
Oh, wow.
And
You started on the early stuff.
Yeah, got that going. Changed the hardtail on it because it had a bolt-on funky thing. Rebuilt that. Didn't have to get into the motor too much, thankfully. But the wiring was all crazy, and that's all like the, you know, it was switched it all from the old Lucas stuff to some newer. And then while that was going on and it was running, one of the other founding members, Josh, who's no longer in the club, he had a buddy down in Orange County who had this shovel head literally in milk crates. And so I sold the Triumph. It was running good, sold it. I have no idea where it is now, but took that money, went straight down there, and we picked up that shovel head, which is what I am running today still. Yeah.
Right on, man. So,
Yeah.
Aaron, what about you? How'd you get into bikes?
It was always something my dad did it. It was kind of just what I've always wanted to do. And, you know, life stuff changed. And then saw these guys when they got out of the Marines riding around. And I thought, well, this is my time to get into the bikes. So did that, and that's what happened.
So
Yeah, and we all skateboarded together and whatnot, but, you know, in high school. And
Yeah.
So you guys went to school together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you guys didn't ride dirt bikes or anything as kids?
Nope.
Okay.
Now there was, not enough money in
What
that.
about, so like you said, your dad, was he on Harleys or was he on something else?
He was on the Harleys, yeah.
But not, was it like this stuff, or was it like, like,
Well, so yeah, he was in the early years, and then I think it was his '79 Shovelhead. We were coming back from Arizona, and I called him saying something about we were coming back, and Jonathan's like, "Oh, just tell him we're about a half hour away," and we were like, what, 4 hours away from his house.
yeah.
He's like, if you can get here tonight, you can have the Shovelhead. So we rode over there and got it. And,
that's insane.
mhm.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, we were coming back on the I-40, I think.
Yeah.
And his dad lived in Yucca Valley, which is right next to 29 Palms, where I was stationed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know the back way through Amboy and all this stuff, and it was a lot longer than I
That was a lot
remember.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be there in a half hour. He's like, oh, okay. 4 hours later.
Yeah.
And that was just how long the riding took.
That was we got to the hotel, everybody, and then we got in the chase truck and we drove to get this Shovelhead in the middle of the night.
And that's we got that back to the shop, and I think we rigid framed it then.
Yeah,
rebuilt it, and then it's just been on from there.
Okay, so Jonathan, earlier you were telling me that originally a lot of you guys were on like some Triumphs and maybe like some sporty chops and stuff, right?
Yep.
So where did the chopper influence come for a lot of you guys? Where, like, was it the magazines? Was it just something?
I think it's like the old. I think for a lot of people, it's that old Easy Rider stuff. Rooster's bike was huge, like brakes, functional brakes, mag wheels, and that was the evolution of it for us, because it was really like whatever we could get our hands onto, and then just rode the shit out of whatever that might have been. And then it slowly was like, as you got a little bit more money, you're like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade the wheels, I'm gonna upgrade the brakes, and finally you move out of the Sportster stuff, and now everybody's running Shovelheads, and all of a sudden, this different level of performance almost happens where once you've been around long enough, and obviously these deals come up where people dying, unfortunately, and we had some local guys pass while we've been around, and they've got piles of parts, so kind of inheriting some of that stuff too, and like and then the bikes evolve with these new parts as well.
So, did you guys feel like upgrading? Because I mean, we're sitting here and we've got cone shovel. I believe also cone shovels over there. Shovel here. Do you guys feel like it felt more authentic to get into that after the sporties? It was like the OG stuff, like what was in Easy Riders type.
The cone shovel for us, when we started doing it, was very affordable because everybody wanted a panhead. I mean, everybody still wants a panhead, right? But the generator stuff was where everybody was at, where they wanted to be at, and nobody wanted to touch Evolution or the Shovelhead. But so for us, it was like, okay, this is where we could be faster and cheap and parts readily available, and but there, my brother, he's got a 67. And then Buddy's got a 66. I've got a 67 that I'm working on. And Josh has, I think, another 66. So, it's still Shovelhead though. Okay. And obviously this knucklehead here, but
it was a lot cheaper, I think.
Yeah, and we're talking $2,000. You could get it. You could get a Shovelhead.
Is that just for the motor, or for the whole?
No,
bike?
that's for the whole bike.
That's so insane.
Yeah, so like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, it
and $2,000. I mean, it's still a lot of money, but you're like $2,000 or $2,500. Okay. Yep. $4,000. No one would ever pay more than $4,000 for a complete Shovelhead.
So back then in the 2000s, like the guys in the chopper scene and stuff, or just the local old heads, did they even consider like these bikes? I mean, I guess the shape was probably chopper, but did they even consider cone shovels chopper, or did they consider them more like, it's still too new?
Well, it's funny, when we rode out to El Forcero, and I met Tom Fugel before, and but anyway, we rode out there to his clubhouse to meet him in person and have him show us around. And this is when and Moose was around, and so what he always said was he thought people riding knuckleheads and the old stuff were idiots, because like the performance was so much better, and and I'm paraphrasing, but like this is stuff he was and I just laughed at that. And so he definitely considered. I mean, he rode that Evo, and I mean, you can't call him like
not chopper.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that. But I mean, he rode the shit out of that thing, and he was thinking like the old stuff is like why would you ever waste your time and money on that junk setup? You know, and I'm not saying it was all junk, but you know,
It has more problems. It's older. It's way
yeah.
older. That makes a lot of sense. So how did Death Traps come about? Like, tell me how you guys floated into that.
So there's two other members, founding members, Paul and Josh, and they'd had this idea for a while for this club. And then we had, they were, we known them through like the punk rock, skateboard scene. And they weren't in school. They were already out of school by the time we were in there, like high school is what I'm talking about. And so they had this idea. And when my brother and I got out of the Marine Corps and Wolf was around, but he was doing the hot shot, the wildland firefighting stuff, you know, we all got in the bikes real fast. And then we ran into them and they were like, holy shit, we've got enough guys to do this. At that time, it was 5 of us. And then real fast after that, after we started talking about this, made up some bylaws, kind of talked about, you know, they had already had the name. And so we just kind of happened to be there to do that. You know, just basically we needed those extra people there to do it, to make it happen. And that's kind of what we were looking for anyway. But we just hadn't done any of that legwork on how to properly make it happen. And we were just having fun riding bikes anyway. And so running into them, and then we quickly had 3 more guys, and then the rest is history.
So you made it 8 from there.
Yeah.
So where did you guys get that number of like 5? We need 5.
Yeah, talking to the bigger clubs, it was always like you needed 6 guys. They don't want to see guys rolling around with a club with a patch less than 6 guys. So for that, it was just like, okay, we need 6.
I've kind of heard. That's why I figured I asked. I figured you guys probably went about it the right way, and you had to talk to the local dominants and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on. That's cool.
Yeah. So basically, all of us, you know, we had all of our bikes going, and we would roll to every event for about a year, and introduce ourselves. And that was the thing. We'd show up, and the old timers loved it because they would laugh at our bike and be like, "Holy fuck, I remember that brake." You know, oh, that front end, it doesn't work out. You know, like my brother's got this girder on his front end. And the old timers loved it because they knew how it worked. The new guys didn't really know, but you know, they still respect. But it was like, you know, you had the old timers, and they, you know, once you kind of got the ear and the smile of those guys, you know, as a younger guy, I'm not sure how much, you know. Anyway, they respected, I think, but and they, you know, they're just kind of like whatever. But and so yeah, for like a year we did that. We had what we wanted to do, and then one night I got a text, "Hey, send me your colors idea." Sent it over, and like 5 minutes later, cool, you guys good.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, you hung around for a lot of years before you became a member, right?
I don't think it was that long. I was kind of short. It was kind of short there. Maybe a couple months, 3 months.
It was
I'm sorry, you were telling me about somebody else earlier. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody else. So,
But yeah, you were shortly after. It was probably not even 6 months.
Yeah, I want to say after your guys' first meeting, that's when I showed up, and then it was on from there. Yeah.
So what did you have at that time?
I had just gotten my Ironhead Sportster. It was a 76 Sportster.
Hardtailed?
No, not yet. Me and Josh, another founding member, we did that in his garage.
So to Josh, which a lot of you guys might have Josh on Instagram. He's Dirty Biker. He does a parts line with Paco. You know, a lot of stuff out there. And so did he used to live out here?
Josh used to be in Santa Cruz.
Okay.
So this was another Josh.
Yeah. So So there's 2 Joshes. Yeah.
Joshes. Yeah.
Yep. No. All good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Josh, the Josh we're talking about right now is currently the founding member, who, like I said, is no longer in the club. He was Sonora.
Okay.
So born and raised, and then, but we met Josh, Dirty Biker, through going to Santa Cruz and whatnot.
God, that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay, so right now, as it sits, you guys are what, 17 and a half years, coming up on maybe 18?
Yeah, 18 in next May.
Oh, right on. You're a good deal. You guys are coming up on that double decade.
Yeah, real fast. I know, real fast.
That's a big milestone.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, tell me, right, because a lot of people that I've ran into and talked to, and like a lot of people know who you guys are, and they see the bikes, and like, you know, for me personally, if I had to guess, when I rolled up, I kind of figured that you guys were going to be Noda Sportsters, all had to be Harley. So basically, like, you know,
probably Evo, hardtail, and earlier. So like, what actually is a chopper to you guys? Like Aaron, what's a chopper to you?
A chopper is anything that you make your own. You're going to chop, do what you got to do to modify it, change it to your likings and how you want it to perform better. I mean, for a while there, I rode an Evo Dyna that was I've considered a chopper for the most part because it was how I made it, how I wanted to make it.
Yeah.
And it worked good and it was okay. I mean, it ran good. So, yeah.
And then you've been on, which one of those is your
The
chopper?
70
the shovel head.
swing arm shovel out there.
Right on. So like, bam, right there, you got a swing arm shovel. And a lot of people, you know, like there's guys that run like chopper shows and stuff. And like, oh, you know, you can't bring that in here.
No,
That's absolutely a chopper.
that's a chopper.
You know?
There's no question about it.
Right on.
Oh yeah.
So when it comes to your guys' cut, right, it's very unique. It's its own thing. So you guys have the huge wraparound top rocker, like a spare cut laying around. We can put. I'll put pictures up later. Maybe we'll throw this in right here while we're talking. But you guys have the big wraparound top rocker. It says Deathtraps, and then the MC at the bottom. Was there a reason you guys wanted to go for that and no center patch, or was there one and then you kind of scrapped it?
I don't know if there was ever a center patch idea that everyone would vote for. And so at the time it was, you know, we did that hard arch because there's some old photos of some clubs in the 60s and it was just real, and it was handmade. And so that's where we got that real hard arch, right? And then the M and the C were just like, okay, let's do it this way. And then I drew the font actually, so it's like it's our font, you know, that was hand drawn. So it kind of fits into that whole idea of you said handmade 60s, 70s, yeah, which is I think where we model a lot of our bikes. And then you know, as I said, they evolved into this other you know, with a little bit more money, a little bit better, you know, performance, you know, and so
Did we have our belt patches first?
Yeah. So we actually had these patches first. And so that's what we were running for that year, like I said, where we were just kind of hanging out and introducing ourselves.
Like a little soft color.
Right. Yeah, and that's what we ran. Like the first time to Mexico, like El Diablo run. It was just that. That was the first time, and yeah,
a couple parties on Copperopolis.
Yep. Bell patches. Yeah, that's what we. Yeah,
it was.
So here we are today, 17 and a half years later, and you guys are still just the Sonora chapter with like some nomads out.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys want to possibly expand in the future? You want to just keep it right here?
I think, I mean, expanding is great until like you start considering politics of it. We talked heavily with some good friends of ours in Europe about expanding, and I think, you know, in the long run, you know, with some advice from some other good friends of ours also in Europe, you know, we made the decision not to go forward with it, which I think in hindsight was the correct thing. And you know, it's one thing to expand in California, and that's still not easy, and opens you up to a whole nother set of bullshit. Going overseas was, you know, a great idea, and I think in a perfect world it would have been awesome.
Yeah. Well, so
no, we are not expanding.
And that for everybody out there, like, that wasn't a trap question. I feel kind of bad asking that, but you know, you never know, man. Like, maybe wherever I'm rolling into, you might text me and be like, "Hey, dude, fucking, there's a guy there. You know, there's a couple guys there. You know." But do you think that you guys not being a 3-piece kind of helps you if you wanted to? Like, does that help you kind of stay out of the bullshit?
You know, we were told, like, we're not a support club. We're, you know, and we've been friends with a lot of clubs, and which makes it really nice to be able to ride across country throughout Europe and whatnot, which we've done several times, and all over California, and, you know, just being respectful to whomever we meet.
Goes a long way, really.
Yeah,
It does.
And so, yeah, I think the bikes, for one, I think it's less intimidating for people when they see us roll up of like, oh, well, okay, they're not all on Dynas or FXRs. We're on these choppers. Who knows? Maybe peg pushing each other into town. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. But, you know, we take this very serious. But I think that does help out, that not having that bottom rock, that location, all that three piece.
Yeah. It's funny though you say that because like if you think about back in the day, let's look at like maybe the 70s when all the movies were popular, all the way up until I guess probably Sons of Anarchy time is where it changed. But like the crazy choppers that are all covered in oil and you guys are rolling up, and like a lot of your guys' patches and stuff are pretty dirty because you guys are out there wrenching on the side of the road getting dirty and stuff. And like that used to be the scary biker. And it's funny that you say that that's kind of the opposite now because you're not all thugged out on like a T-bar diner or whatever. And that's after probably Sons of Anarchy, that's kind of where the culture might have changed.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I haven't had a chance to think about that like that. You guys, do you put on any like big public events that people can come to? Like any big party you do every year or something?
Yeah. We do a couple of them, don't we?
Well, we do. So we used to do swap meet, which was rad. And our problem was we could never nail down a location, but so it really moved all over the place. So that was always fun. But we throw in our anniversary party, and we've done it here now that we're at our new clubhouse. This last year we did it back at Copperopolis. So we've been throwing a party at the Old Corner Saloon, and it's been great because it's been like more or less a free for all, camping, bands, whatever, tons of bikes. And so that's kind of been our annual party. But we're always open to other things. I want to I want to start doing a show up at 9,000 feet up on Sonora Pass. I want to do like a chopper show, ride up. That's kind of my dream. I'm trying to like push an idea for that. But I know guys, we recently started just doing more of a ride because we really just kind of got stuck partying, which is always fun. So you ride to the party and that's it. So the last couple of years we've been doing a ride, which is unfortunately, I think some people get scared about that. And so like, it's like, but that is our roots, man. Because we would always have to ride to LA. Like we ride to LA, I don't even know how many times a year. And to go to a party because, that's where all the parties were, the chopper parties for a long time back in the early days. And so going back to this idea of like, well, let's have a ride and then we'll just have a party is, that's that idea of like, well, let's ride to the top of the fucking pass and have a party.
Bars and stuff.
There's nothing up there. You got to bring all your shit up there, and and we're gonna provide like food. That was the idea. Who knows? This could happen, but again, it's like you got to go do this, and there's no way to cheat to get up there. I mean, obviously you could drive, but like everybody's gonna see it. There's no shame in having to drive, but it's like the point is like get people out on their choppers and like. You can't like park down the street and like unload the bike. Like
there's none of that.
Because that used to happen, and that sucks if your bike broke and you're unloading it to fix it. But like I saw people. The whole point of these fucking things is to ride them.
We've done pretty good in the last couple of years with our ride before the party, though, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, and like these parties are public, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And then like you'll usually post those on the Instagram.
Yeah. Used to be the blog and then Instagram and free camping, free. It's just a good excuse to get people together and a lot of these people we've known for and it's funny. Our 10-year party. I think it was our 10-year party, or maybe it was our 15-year party. There wasn't as many people as I thought there would be, right? But I was looking around this party, and there were several hundred people there. But I could pick out almost anyone who was there, and I'd put miles on with whoever that was there. And that was, to me, special, more special than having like 500, 1,000 people at this place. It was like, damn, I know everyone here. And these are people that I've seen throughout our last 15 years, some of them, right? And so that was like, it's at first you're like kind of, or at least I was a little bummed, like we didn't have like that many people. But then it's like, dude, but the quality of people we had was like something really special to me. And I'm like, okay, fuck yeah. So I think I got sidetracked. I don't know.
No, you're
Rich,
right, you're
No,
right.
I don't really remember what
I
that.
didn't really even think about that. You're right. That's
Yeah.
the party. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was awesome.
Because we've had some ragers,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, that was rad, but I didn't know everybody.
Yeah. Who was all those people there? I have no idea.
It's cool, but
So they like a lot of civilians.
we do once in a while. Yeah, we'll get a lot of people that'll come in, you know, from town and whatnot. And I say town like Sonora and, you know, friends of ours and whatnot. But people are just driving by, pull in. But yeah.
Then we had that one of the first swap meet. We had the $1 mug, all you can drink, or
Yeah.
$10 mug, all you could drink beer.
Oh fuck.
That was our swap meet deal. Was we had these mugs made, and we had like a bunch of kegs. So it was an engraved mug, and there was only a certain amount that we made. It was $20 a mug, and they were bottomless for the rest of the whole day.
I think we did that for 3 years.
I think we did it almost
4?
every year. 5 years. 5 years. Jason's giving 5.
In the middle of the night, there was all sorts of
Guys
stuff.
would break them, and they just fucking cry because it was like shit in the middle of the day, you know. And they were gone. Once they were gone, they were gone.
Yeah.
We never redid them.
Makes you treasure it though. If you didn't,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and people who had gotten like the first 3 and like quit drinking for whatever reason, they would come and still buy them because like I got the first 3, I got to have number 4. They come again, I got to have number 5.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool.
I think the first year they were all hand done by one of the members, a couple of members. There was like
We did.
they were all different. The very first ones, I
Were they
thought.
glass or ceramic?
They were glass. They were like the Stein, the glass
Laser
Stein.
engraved or something.
I think we did. I think maybe there was something goofy with the first ones, but we had a bunch. They were out of an outfit out of Reno that would do them.
Sandblast them or something.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe B-Blast or something.
Yeah.
Right on. So, God, I gotta quit saying so. I do that shit on like every interview. I gotta work on that.
I'm over here going,
Yeah, for sure. You notice that stuff, like, you know, sitting around like doing these a couple times. I'm like, I say this too much, or I say that too much. You know what I mean? I did notice that you wear this diamond here with the S.5. Is that what you want to call that? It's not the full SS.
No, it's a 4.
Oh, it's a 4. Oh, I'm tripping out, dude.
well, I mean,
for the D, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I feel so dumb. I can't believe I didn't realize
That was one of our earlier designs too.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
early.
That actually, now that I see it, that works really good. Right on.
Yeah, so I think we called it like the Broken 4 or whatever, but
4
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys always wear that? You always have that since the beginning?
I don't think it was from the very beginning. It was an idea that some of us had, and it got put into patches. You know, and
Probably a couple years in after the back
Yeah.
patches.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right on, guys. That's super rad. I'd really like to see what you guys got going on here. You know, like I was super stoked when you hit me back when I texted you and I was like, hey, like, can we do this? And I think you told me you'd get back to me and that like you bring it up to the club. And when it was a yes, dude, I was over the moon. Because like I go to clubhouses or whatever in certain places, right? Some of the bigger clubs, like they'll have a lot of cool bikes. Like they have a really good chapter of like cool shit going on. But then there's other times where it's like, oh, that's a lot of really stock twin cam baggers and maybe like a hopped up M8. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, I could sit here and look at this, all these, you guys can't really see a whole lot of it except these two, but like there's all these choppers outside. And I could look at that all night, man. You don't get that everywhere. So, and I'm sure that you guys, you know, compared to, again, other guys where they're just, you know, they hit the button and go and they go to the runs or whatever and sit at the bar, like y'all are on the side of the road figuring out like, oh, so-and-so snapped a belt. Where's the closest, you know, BDL belt we can get, or, you know, where's this shovel head part, which now you guys probably know people all over the western side of the United States where you can get that shit.
Yeah, and if we went down Highway 99 right now, I could tell you, I got stories about every exit. We've broken down fucking everywhere on that.
That's awesome,
man. And you know, you asked what's a chopper, and I'm going to answer that because Aaron answered, but I think our area kind of dictates that. You know, we're Northern California Bay Area. You know, that's obvious. You know, that Frisco style chopper, but you know, riding up here in the mountains, you know, there's hardly any straights, and you know, we're splitting lanes in the Bay Area, and then you come up here and you're gonna, you know, got to take all these however many thousand turns going up and over the pass.
Yeah.
And so although my idea of a chopper might not be someone who comes around the club. That might not be their idea, but this terrain and how we ride will almost shape that person's idea of what a chopper is. Because for one, you're not going to be able to keep up. For two, it's downright dangerous if you're dragging shit around corners. And so, yeah, I think a little bit of our bikes are products of where we live and ride.
Yeah, compared to, you guys got all of these real tall front ends. Most of you guys are running front brakes. And in other areas, you might be running super shitty rear brakes, and like they're trying to do some weird one. Like there's a guy I've seen online before where he's got like one handlebar, and like no brakes, and just, it makes sense. It's, I don't want to call it performance because I don't feel like it's like purpose built. Maybe is the right word.
Yeah.
It fits our environment.
Yeah.
It does it because otherwise it wouldn't work.
Right.
Like, because I'm sure that there's guys who like have their idea of what chopper is, and they're like, oh, why the hell would you dual disc that thing? Why would you put dual discs on that? It needs to be shaved legs,
Yeah.
That's not what you guys do. You ride out in the mountains, like you said, and you're hauling ass.
Yeah.
So, have you gotten to see people come around and maybe they're on like something that you just really don't think is cool, and then they evolve into kind of your guys' style?
I've seen it. There's been like handful of kids grow up here, and they all of a sudden you're like, whoa, where'd that Sportster come from? And then they kind of like, it's us 17 years ago.
Setting the trend.
You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's what we did. They're strut their bikes, and make these little, sketchy little narrow bars. You're like, yeah, fuck, we did that.
We had one member come from Texas or Arizona. It was all but flat there, and he couldn't the corner.
Yeah.
His bike would not corner up here, so that got changed.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
So you moved up here and then started.
Start prospecting. Yeah.
Cool deal, man. So, outside of obviously the bikes, what makes you proud to be a Death Trap member? What makes it special to you guys? Maybe not to another brother, but to you guys.
I mean, this for me. I mean, like both of us being in for so long, but it's like this is like so much part of my life. Like it's not even. My wife will be like, I'm bugging her, and she's like, "You need to get on your bike. Get the fuck out of here." And it's just like this great thing that's always,
it's there, and you don't. You couldn't imagine without it. It would be
no.
It would be not okay.
No.
There would be. I couldn't imagine without it. It would be horrible.
Yeah. So I think it's just a huge part of my life, and it's as I wasn't married when we was doing this, and now I got 2 kids, and so but none of this has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously the club has evolved a little bit, but like this whole area of my life is still very
Death Trap.
Death Trap, yeah. and huge, and it's like and I think it also helps because I think I've seen guys not necessarily in our club, but guys come into the club scene and like get a fucking divorce and shit, just fucking just everything. But it's like, dude, this was all part of my life. So when I started adulting, this was never gonna not happen for me.
Yeah.
And so it was already so much of me that it was.
I think that's a nuance in a lot of areas. If you talk to, I think, any club that's been around for any amount of time, they've got the guy that comes around and maybe he's young and single or whatever, and then he gets a woman and then he goes down the road. You see him later. Or this guy gets a divorce. He comes around, he's super into it, and then something changes and he's gone. I think it happens. People love to see what you guys got going on, and they want to hang out. They want to be a part of it and have a family. And then they're just not about it like the rest.
Yeah.
Really loyal to it is.
Yeah.
Something I forgot to ask you earlier when we were talking about the parties and stuff was when you started up. how was the local reputation with the civilian populace and the law enforcement? How did that go?
Civilians, I think were. I think it was fine.
They didn't really care.
Law enforcement, on the other hand, they were out to get us. I mean, we had officers straight up tell us that, like, they were told by their superior officers to, anytime they see us, to pull us over. Anytime we were out, to pull us over, to give us as many tickets as possible. I mean, we became experts on the fucking law because, like, you know, and you kind of have to, but, you know, just to prevent that level of harassment. And, you know, for example, CHP pulled my brother over. His 67 is in a knucklehead frame. There's no numbers on a knucklehead frame. It's 47 straight leg. Officer says there looks like there's a number stamped in the neck. There wasn't. Impounded the bike. They came back and said, "Hey, you've got to your bike came back stolen, but we will give you everything back except for the cases." Him and I went into the CHP impound lot, disassembled that entire motor and bike in fucking 2 hours, 35 minutes, which of course didn't look good on our end because we just fucking completely took our,
not at all,
with like a sledgehammer and like a set of wrenches, and then loaded everything up, gave them the case halves. Fucking 2 weeks later, said, no, never mind. Here, you can have them back. Came back good. You're good.
No way.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. This is when everything changes because it was any time we could do a 1,000-mile ride, come back into Tuolumne County and get pulled over within fucking 5 minutes of entering the county.
Every time.
Not get fucked with one time. We come back. So, you know, Jason, who's a member, he's over here right now. His daughter, well, whatever. We did a benefit for his daughter. And how many years ago was that?
That was a long time ago.
12 years ago?
Yeah.
So we did a benefit. It was huge. We rented out the Veterans Hall up in Tuolumne City. We raised a bunch of money. And there's all kinds of articles in the newspaper and whatnot and online about the event. And the public, there was something was going on, and the public like commented, and it was just like all these letters to the editor about how that's when it changed. Instantly, the pressure was gone. Like we stopped getting fucked with. But I think it's just because, you know, all of a sudden everybody kind of saw a different side. I'm like, oh shit, okay. No, these kids did go to high school or elementary school with my son or daughter. Like, oh, they know, or yeah, they work for me, and it's all this shit. And so it really changed after that.
That's cool. Like I say, usually it's like, that's cool that it was like one thing. All it took was like one good event for you guys. Other people I've heard that, you know, it might have taken them years of doing public stuff before they can get that repertoire with people, you know.
It was a rough couple of years there, wasn't it?
It was definitely a rough couple of years. But that event was, I think, for me, it was a noticeable change in the dynamic between us and law enforcement.
Right on. That's some really cool history, man. So do you guys have any prospects now?
We got to hang around.
Hang around?
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys keep it pretty slow and pretty gradual on who you let around then.
Yeah, there was a time when we tried to, you know, convince guys to come into the club, and that never panned out well. And so it was just like, fuck it, we're not, this is, and you know, and someone would come, and a lot of those guys that did are still in, and then we've had some guys that came in, and you know, we've got a lot of guys that have come in and made member, and then just kind of
faded out.
Life, just it wasn't what they really wanted, which we knew it too, and so we've had a lot of good breakups, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and then we have like a prospect like Josh. He was prospect for how many years?
Yeah, Dirty Bike had prospect twice for us. Not because of anything he did for us, but it was, you know, just kind of the political scene at the time, and so yeah, you got guys like Josh who was like fully committed,
and what year did he come around? The first time.
First time was like 2012.
I wish he was here. He would know. It was a long time. It was a long time ago.
That's what I mean. I probably could have like coordinated a little earlier and maybe had him come out or something, but there's always another.
Yeah, no.
It was like 12, 13, I want to say, really.
Yeah, and maybe even earlier than
It might
that.
have been earlier because the Oakland party, we went down to Oakland. So that'd been 2009.
Who knows?
Yeah, it was early.
And he's been a member since when?
Is he 10 years now?
Maybe.
24.
I know this is like I'm not the best with the dates.
No, that's not gonna.
So
Yeah,
he's been around for a few
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
for a long time.
Yep.
Let me check this real quick. Yep, we're still good. Cool.
Yeah.
That's rad, man. I normally I would ask you guys like I talked about earlier when I was hanging out with some other people, like what do you think makes you guys special? But I don't think I really have to ask because we're kind of surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Super cool, And you guys being one chapter and then you're kind of spread out. That probably keeps it more centric,
Yeah.
And you're in some of, at least from what I've seen, I think this is some of the best place to be to ride. I mean, everything's twisty and single lane.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, but you guys hungry?
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's get some food
Some
then.
barbecue. Yeah, let's do it.